They're tattooed from neck to toe. They live by codes of silence and loyalty, feared by enemies, respected by many, and tied to Japan's history itself. This is the story of the Yakuza. From humble street hustlers and gamblers to one of the world's most feared criminal empires. How did they rise? What kept them powerful for centuries? And why are they still respected, even today? Stay tuned as we uncover the ruthless rise of the Yakuza, Japan's most powerful crime syndicate. To understand the Yakuza, we have to go back to the 17th century in Japan, a time when society was divided by strict class lines. The samurai ruled with honor, the merchants sold goods, and at the bottom lived the tekiya and bakuro, the outcasts. The tekiya were peddlers selling goods at markets and festivals. The bakuro ran illegal gambling rings, moving from town to town. They were despised yet necessary, and from them came the Yakuza. In gambling, the losing hand, 893, was called Yakuza, meaning worthless. It was a label that society gave them, but turned it into a badge of pride. As Japan modernized, the tekiya and the bakuro formed their own brotherhoods. They protected their people, enforced their own justice. And then they adopted the old Bushido code of the samurai: honor, loyalty, and obedience. And that's how the Yakuza were born, the modern samurai of the underworld. The Yakuza didn't see themselves as criminals, but as families. Their hierarchy was based on the Oyabun-Kuban system. The Oyabun, the parent or boss, offered protection, guidance, and money. The Koban, the child, owed absolute loyalty. Disobedience wasn't an option. Every initiation began with a sacred sake ritual, a symbolic act that made a new member part of the family for life. Then came the tattoos, full-body irizumi, a mark of pain, loyalty, and identity. Each design, dragons, koi fish, samurai, carried meaning. These tattoos were earned, not chosen. They were a declaration: I belong to the Yakuza. And in Japan, that meant one thing: you were untouchable. By the early 20th century, Japan was changing fast. The Yakuza evolved with it. When World War II devastated Japan, the black market exploded. Food, weapons, medicine, everything had a price, and the Yakuza controlled it all. When American troops occupied Japan, they tried to dismantle organized crime, but in the chaos, the Yakuza offered something the people needed: order. They provided jobs, protection, and structure, a dark mirror of the government itself. By the 1960s, the Yakuza controlled construction, real estate, and entertainment. They had tens of thousands of members, operating like multinational corporations. The Yamaguchi-gumi, based in Kobe, rose as Japan's largest syndicate, a crime empire worth billions. And with its rise, Japan's streets ran under Yakuza law. By the 1980s, Japan's economic boom turned the Yakuza into international businessmen. They laundered money through banks, real estate, and stock markets. Their influence stretched far, from Tokyo to Los Angeles, Bangkok, and even Moscow. Western media began to mythologize them. Movies like Black Rain and the Yakuza turned their secret world into pop culture legend. But behind the Hollywood image, the truth was darker. They were involved in extortion, drugs, arms trafficking, even political manipulation. The Yakuza were no longer just gangsters. They had become the silent businessmen of crime. But every empire eventually falls. In the 1990s, Japan's government passed strict anti-Yakuza laws, making it illegal for businesses to work with them. Banks froze accounts. Police publicly listed their names. The once feared Yakuza became outlaws in their own society. Memberships plummeted from 180,000 in the 1960s to fewer than 25,000 today. Yet they've adapted. Some operate as legitimate companies. Others fade quietly into history. The Yakuza remain Japan's shadow, a reminder that honor and crime have always walked a thin line. From street gamblers to underworld emperors, the Yakuza's story is one of transformation, loyalty, and survival. They are both villains and protectors, criminals and men, a paradox that still defines Japan's hidden face. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history of the Yakuza, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to uncover more stories from the dark world of organized crime, only on Mafia Tales.